Hello, everyone. It is Chaotic Houndoom here. I'm here with two of my teammates for the Proton Splat League for Season 6, Darth Bowser and Warrior of Fire. And, this was something we were discussing when we first saw the map list for Season 6 of PSL, was to kind of go over all the legal maps and, give our opinions on it. Because some of these, our opinions were like, why is this here? Or why is this not here? It's an interesting opinion, to say the least. Right now, you're kind of seeing that there's 4 pages of maps of everything's legal because it's every map and it kind of marks what all is legal. And you're seeing right now, the first list of it. All these were, first of all, also made by Icy, who does a good job of making these graphics. He should be paid, and he refuses to get paid. And I am just saying this right now to support the people who do this, which Icy is one of them. Anyway, say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
I had a feeling someone was going to do that.
God damn it. I don't know what I expected. We are mature.
Just for clarity's sake, I'm Darth Bowser, 66, for anyone who's not familiar with the sound of my voice.
And that's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Warrior of Fire.
Mm-hmm. So, some people might be a little bit more familiar with Warrior than Darth.
And I was going to say, you two have at least commentated league matches before.
Well, yeah, we have, but let's just start going over this list. So our first map is the Reef. It's legal for every mode except Rainmaker, which I find interesting.
Yeah, my experience with Rainmaker on the Reef, which is mostly in ranked mode, so it's a far cry from PSL competition. But I'm kind of neutral on it. Like, some matches are okay, but sometimes you can kind of just get rushed. But that's the one where you could take it over the bridge, you could take it under the bridge, or you could take it through the alley, right?
Yeah. I guess it's partially they decided to vote no on this, probably because of where the Rainmaker is, which is on top of the bridge, as opposed to Tower Control, which is under the bridge.
Yeah.
Plus, there is kind of a way to cheese the Rainmaker, I'm guessing. But I would not know. I mean, I'm kind of neutral to everything else. I mean, I kind of don't like reef zones, but I'm not like, we need to ban reef zones.
Okay. Yeah, reef zones feels awkward, but it's the kind of awkward where it's like you just kind of have to learn how to work with it, not awkward like bad.
So what are your thoughts on this, Warrior?
Definitely it. Challenging to work with. Got a lot of ramps and a lot of closed areas that can make it tricky to get the Rainmaker through it. They with flat zones, how the 2 zones are laid out under the bridge also makes that a little interesting. Once the action really gets going.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like the inner the inner halves of each zone are under the bridge, so it makes stuff like rain and missiles a little hard to navigate. And booyah.
Yeah.
A little hard to navigate. So, next map is Muscle Forge Fitness. It is legal for everything. And I agree with... I am a little surprised, actually, that Muscle Forge Rainmaker is going to be legal because of how you can cheese it. There's a pretty, really big shortcut in Muscle Forge.
Yeah, like Muscle Forge Rainmaker, I think is one of the stages where I feel like you have the most different routes you could take.
Maybe that's why they chose it.
Because you've got the direct, I say the direct route, but the one where you go kind of around the corner up the path that's there. You can take the rail, and then there's a third one, which I'm trying to recall exactly what that is, but I think that's kind of the more cheesy one that you're talking about.
The rail is the cheesy route I was taking. I mean, it's also a very, very risky route.
Yeah. It does also just, to me, feel like one of the stages it's more difficult to defend in Rainmaker. Unless you kind of know which direction the Rainmaker is going and you have the ability to get there in time to do something about it. But if you're kind of out of position, you're kind of screwed.
And also, a lot of the walls can't be painted, which does also limit the routes you can take the Rainmaker.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. There are some walls that you really can't climb up, so if you end up on the very most bottom level, you're kind of stuck. Unless you make your way back to the middle. That is true.
The other Muscle Forge thing I'd say is always an interesting experience, at least for me, is Muscle Forge clams. Because the goal is right at the edge of the wall there, where you... I think it's where you drop down, and then once you drop down there, then you're vulnerable to being hit by regular weapons. At that point, that's kind of when you drop down to mid. So, it feels like one of the stages where the goal is, feels the easiest to reach. I don't know if it is the easiest to reach, because it's also an easy place for someone to just stand up by the goal with a splatling or a charger and keep people back.
It's also fairly tricky to get up on the same level as the enemy goal. Is that in the lack of equal walls and the layout is slightly different from the Rainmaker.
You're right. So, here's probably one of the more interesting maps when we go moving off of Muscle Forge and going to Starfish. It's only legal for turf war and tower control.
And I'm gonna pull this one up on my visual here and see if I can find anything that might...
I think the reason they banned it for Splat zones is because the zone is very big. It's a very big one zone.
Yeah.
Rainmaker, I'm not sure on that one. See, I would have picked Rainmaker over Tower Control because Tower Control becomes flank central as it goes around the little pillar that's just right, not that far off of mid. Where you're just circling around that. You're making a, 740 degree turn Like, you're not doing the whole entire 360 circle, so I think it's not 720, wow, 270, like, angle. So, I don't know.
So, one of those apps that comes up, either go to time, or if a team can manage to keep the opponents away from that pillar, could be a semi-quick knockout.
Yeah, so you think a lot of things swing it is either going to be we're going into overtime, or this is a quick KO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see maybe not wanting to include some of the maps that act like that.
Yeah, but Starfish, like, and I guess Rainmaker and Clam Blitz are kind of put in the same basket here. Well, same basket, kind of same...
Basket. Clam basket.
Haha. But kind of in the same thing, because the Rainmaker goal and the Clam Blitz basket are about in the same spot. I think they're about the same
Clam
spot.
Blitz basket is a little bit different because it's right by the edge. The Rainmaker goal you gotta climb up to.
Yeah, but still, they're relatively close to each other, and you still have to go into that deep pit that's not that far from spawn.
Yeah, the Rainmaker goal compared to the Clam basket, to use a fairly simple phrase, back and to the left.
God damn it, if I don't hear that enough from... God damn it. We're just gonna move right along at that. We're just gonna leave that be. Humpback Pump Track. Legal for everything besides Rainmaker, and I'm pretty sure Humpback Pump Track is... this is interesting. And I have to bring up the fact that when, during the free agent showcases, both of them, we were asking the mod, especially since Icy was with Chow and I, immediately, what was with some of these choices? And we were told compromises were made. So, it's curious that they let Muscle Forge go, but not Humpback Pump Track.
Now, is Humpback Rainmaker more swingy than Muscle Forge? Because I feel like we've had a lot of discussion before about how fast a Humpback Rainmaker match can go.
That is true.
Yeah.
That actually is true. Actually, you're right. I think it could go more consistently than a Muscle Forge Rainmaker. Like, more consistently, you could just chunk off 40 points in Humpback Rainmaker. You are correct thinking about it.
Yeah. The main two routes for Humpback Rainmaker, circling around to your left, take a more vertical climb, or swing around to the right, which is a little more direct, even though it's a slightly longer path.
Yeah, like, everything else, it looks like we definitely agree. Like, Humpback is definitely, I think, one of the best zones maps, to be fair.
It is also one of the maps that, at least to me, that feels like it has the largest zone.
Oh, I think Starfish is just bigger. I also think Gobi's also a little bigger.
Wahoo's probably bigger too. Wahoo's
Actually,
big.
Yeah, I think Gobi and Starfish's zone is bigger than Humpback's. Humpbacks is actually, I think, kind of small.
Yeah.
I think it's on
Yeah,
the
well,
small
I thought
end.
given the shape of the stage, it would have made more sense to give Humpback a rounded zone, but maybe that would have been too small.
I think they try to go
Yeah.
with a rectangle when they do one zone, and then they just kind of curve around stuff.
Yeah. I think Wahoo Zones is a complete circle, though.
Yeah, Wahoo's the only one that's a circle. But speaking of... what were you gonna say, Warrior?
They did mention how tower path for a humpback. The straight line dividing the central mountain path for doubling it back. Can make things difficult if the opposing team has any long range, like a typical charger.
Yeah. That is true. The tower control pathing is a thing. But going back to interesting zones layout, Inkblot,
Yeah.
which is legal for everything.
And for the zones layout, they get rid of the towers in the middle.
No,
No, the
that's
towers
still
in the middle are
The towers
there.
are-
They're
they get rid-
there.
They get rid of the towers for something else. They get rid of towers for
Rainmaker
something else.
and tower
There you go.
control. It's
Yeah.
Rainmaker and tower control, not
And
zones.
clams, actually.
And the funny thing is, the inkable top of that for Inkblot does not count as part of the zone, but it does for something like
Yeah.
Kelp Dome. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
that always confused me.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't count for Inkblot, but it counts for Kelp Dome. What the heck? What the heck, Splatoon 2 devs? But Inkblot's. I like Inkblot as a stage. Inkblot.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite stage, but it's in like my top 5.
And Inkblot Rainmaker, I think, is one of the few Rainmaker layouts where there's basically there's one way to take it, for the most part.
Yeah, it's a clear cut. You really can only go one way. So you can't cheese it, which is very easily why it's going to be Rainmaker legal.
Yeah.
Clam Blitz is... Clam Blitz is Clam Blitz. And it's a... Inkblot zone is a unique zone.
Yes.
Tower path for Inkblot is another one of those. Kind of easy to defend with a well-placed charger.
Yeah.
Do you like how Tower has to loop around a little tree sculpture on either side?
You gotta make sure to point out that tree. That is a tree sculpture, and that is like the signature of Inkblot.
Yeah.
It is still an art academy, and we are using art as part of what we're battling on.
Yeah.
All right.
Something I noticed with the different layouts, the tree isn't a different spot in Rainmaker.
Wait, it is?
Oh yeah, it is.
Today I learned!
I'm looking at the two versions next to each other, and the trees do shift.
Oh my gosh, the art tree is in I didn't notice that.
Not by much, but
It just moved like 5 pixels to the left.
yeah, and only for Rainmaker.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's move on to what is probably going to be the first thing of where we might have disagreeing opinions. Moray Towers. Only legal for Rainmaker and Clam Blitz. This is the first map on the list that is not available for Turf War. Just Rainmaker and Clam Blitz.
Now, this to me always feels like it's always felt like a stage where your enjoyment or lack thereof in it kind of depends on what you use.
I would agree. I mean, Moray Clam Blitz is not... It's not a terrible Clam Blitz map. It's not. There are worse maps for Clam Blitz.
Oh yeah.
And
Definitely.
Rainmaker is... They're really, like, there's a few rails you can take, which, I mean, you can't... Like, there are a few shortcuts here and there you can take on Moray to make the climb a little easier. But holy crap, I can see why Turf War is definitely not included. Moray just sucks.
And I can see why tower control is not included either.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you guys would enjoy being the one on the tower for that.
Nah, in zones, like, it's more of Moray as a map sucks. Moray as a map really sucks. It's not a great map. Nobody here in the West likes it. Japan really loves Moray.
That's why it's the stage that they picked for Smash Brothers.
That's why it was allowed to come back for 2. Moray is kind of one of the examples of not great map design that they still were like, okay. At least they didn't allow Hammerhead Bridge to come back from 1.
Yeah.
That's the peak of, oh gosh, where did everything go wrong? And I played 1.
And just to put it in perspective where I'm at on it, I think my favorite, the ranked mode I've enjoyed playing most on Moray is Zones, but I don't think I even put that in my top 10 favorite Zones maps.
Oh, well, okay. If you saw where Moray Zones was in Splatoon 1, you'd be like, oh, thank goodness that it's not this anymore.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
I played Splatoon 1, I remember that.
I was going to say, didn't I also point this out to you guys?
I believe you did.
I mean, that's still not the worst example. Port Mackerel Zones in 1 was horrific. I mean, I guess they didn't want to ban any map outright.
Yeah, and I can understand that. If you can avoid banning an entire map, then...
Yeah, I would really like to have known what compromises would have been made to allow anything from Moray Towers, but... And I'll just deal with it. Moray, Rainmaker...
If you were going to have to pick something from Moray to allow, would you have picked one of the ones they picked, or would you have gone with something else?
I would have picked Clam Blitz. Rainmaker I might not have, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, cause most of the activity is gonna be near the bottom in mid.
Yeah, like the verticality doesn't come into play nearly as much.
Yeah, because the thing is, the goal is just right off the first ramp. Like, it's very condensed.
Yeah.
Like, the most condensed that Moray's gonna be on where all the activity is going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, even more so than zones. Because you're gonna have stuff coming from the ledge off the second ramp, which is usually gonna be the sniper spot.
I was gonna say, you're still gonna have snipers up top for that. You're gonna have snipers up top and people down below.
Yeah, whereas not going to be that much in Clam Blitz because that's probably not a good place to put a backliner. Backliner is going to be more probably on the ramp or just right near the basket itself. If you're going to run something like a remix, a charger. But to be fair, just to use, my roommate Chow as an example, she does not play remix in Clam Blitz. She's like strict, like dually squelchers, maybe even C-Jet B-Jet, but she would never play something as immobile as a remix in Clam Blitz. And, well, our next map, seeing as how I've talked about it before, and I did bring it up a little bit, Port Mackerel! Only tower control and Rainmaker. Yeah, Port Mackerel. Port Mackerel tower control is a very interesting routing. I like it because you take advantage, you can take advantage of the sides.
Yep.
Which you can't do in zones. Can't really do in Clam Blitz either.
Yeah. And then, I was going to say, the zone is kind of two rectangles kind of combined into one at the corners.
It kind of...
And so it's kind of surrounded by the boxes, too. So it's
weird.
Yeah.
It's a very weird zone.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably would have been like a neutral towards if mackerel zones was legal. But I'm very okay with not having mackerel blitz.
Yeah.
But mackerel tower control, I am all for.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that also part of the reason for mackerel zones being banned is the potential ease of locking out the other team.
Yeah, that is pretty true.
Yeah.
Lockout potential. Oh, Rainmaker is also a little interesting just because the pedestal's on top of a storage unit.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of which stage it's at. I think we're going to get to it later, the stage where the Rainmaker is on a platform that you can't yourself jump to, and you have to go to the conveyors near it to actually get to it.
That would be Piranha Pit.
And guess what? And we'll get to Piranha Pit later.
Thank goodness we don't have to deal with that in Rainmaker.
Yeah, we'll talk about Piranha Pit a little bit more when we get to it, but spoiler, Rainmaker's not allowed, and I'm pretty sure there's a few reasons why.
Yeah. Getting back to Port Mackerel, the layout for Rainmaker is slightly different because of where the pedestal is placed. Got a ramp leading up to it from the front. Well, it's a box that can be climbed up with ink right near spawn. Plus a couple more unequal surfaces added right next to the platform.
Yeah, it's like I said, these two make the most sense because it's less chance of locking out in the case of these two modes. Utilizing a good chunk of the map is another thing I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree with. It's kind of reverse Moray Towers in this sense, where we're utilizing a lot more of the map and then the map is pretty okay. So it's gonna be a fun time. I really hope that Port Mackerel Tower Control does come up sometime during the rotation because it's one of the ones I really I do enjoy Mackerel Towers. I'm
Yeah.
remembering last season where we had that close tower game against Splashdown Crusaders. Like, it was very close, and even though we did not win that map, it was still just probably my favorite time in Mackerel Zones. Not Mackerel Zones, but Tower Control. Now we're going to page 2 on this. Sturgeon!
And we're going to one of the memes.
Well, I mean, it's just a meme because only some of us still give icy shit over the spelling of sturgeon.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna do it
because I didn't know what was if that was still a thing or not. Or
I
if it would've
mean,
been.
me and Chow still give icy shit every once in a while. I'm not gonna give icy shit here for misspelling sturgeon.
Right.
But this is our third everything legal map. This is our third everything's legal map.
Yeah, and I don't think unless I'm forgetting something about it, I don't think I can come up with any real issues that I have with any of that.
Well, Sturgeon's a pretty good map.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah, Sturgeon's got a large zone. I forgot about that.
It's a very long rectangle. I think it's
Yeah.
a little longer than Muscle Forge's rectangle.
yeah, because and being the ramps at side of the square right in the middle. Basically got 3 squares total for the zone's overall size.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that we're all okay with it being an everything legal stage.
Yeah.
Next map, Manta Maria, legal for Turf War, Tower Control, and Rainmaker. I am surprised, a little surprised, they're letting it be Rainmaker legal. Because
I'm trying to think of the Rainmaker path.
yeah, there's the gap near the edges that you can jump.
Oh yeah.
That's the only reason why I question it, but there are more questionable decisions we will get to later. We will get to that elephant in the room soon.
Yeah. And I will just say one other thing on Manta. I love the idea of the stage on the ship, and as such, I have it listed on my Splatoon app as my favorite stage in the game. However, Manta Zones has very little to do with that.
Yeah, Manta Zones kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Manta Zones. Why is it a
I think my
two-zone
favorite
map?
mode for Manta Maria is actually just turf.
Like, why is Manta Zones a two-zones map? If it was a one-zone map, it'd be better.
It'd be more unique if it was a one-zone map and you had the mast still just kind of in the middle of the zone.
Oh
but it was
no,
like
that'd make it
multiple areas.
worse. That'd make it worse. It'd be
Okay.
worse with a
Okay, so
one-zone map with the mast in the middle than the two-zone map without the mast. Without the bottom half of the mast, I should say.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the one zone would be if it was one zone.
It'd be where the mast is, where the mast would be.
Yeah.
It's one of
They
those
just
that
get
I'm
rid
like,
of the mast.
why is it a two-zone map if it's gonna be like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like my big complaint about Manta Maria zones, and
Yeah.
Clan Blitz is just weird in Manta Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why like it's a weird clams map. Like the basket's in a damn in a corner. It's like the basket's in timeout.
Go sit in the corner, basket.
It's just weird to get in and out of the basket area in Manta Maria.
One other thing to note with the Manta Maria is the top-down view can be a little deceiving. The actual surface area map has part of the ship itself counting as a death plane, like falling into water.
Yeah, that is true. Like, the very bottom, like, there is part of the thing that actually is part of the ship, but it's still considered the death plane. That is true.
And I just realized they get rid of the tower for, or not the tower, the mast for tower control and Rainmaker.
I mean, they
They
do that
could've
for
gotten rid of
zones
it
as
for-
well.
They could have done it for zones too, yeah.
No,
They just had a
they
nice way
do
of
that
saying
for zones. It's gone in zones too. I think the
The entire mast is still there in zones.
no, I mean the
But
bottom
the-
half. That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I mean. But oh, you're talking about the entire mast being gone, so that upper grate isn't there, right?
No, the upper grate is still there, but like the lower half of the mast isn't. Like
Anyway,
but it gets in the way for zones, I think.
it makes some interesting perches, but it's a 2-zone map. It's an awkward as heck 2-zone map. Why is it a 2-zone map? Ow! I just hit my thumb on my chair. And the armrest is plastic, not there's not a cover on it, and I just. All right. Anyway, let's get to elephant in the room number 1, Kelp Dome.
Kelp Dome I would describe as just great. It's just a great map.
It is legal
You have
for
to spell great,
only.
Grate.
It is only legal for turf war. Kelp
Yep.
Dome sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. It's weird though. Maybe it's just the weapon I use. Maybe it's just because I'm getting to be a bit of a sicko now. But I've enjoyed Kelp Dome clams recently for some reason. Maybe it's because the people I play with in ranked never ever think to try to flank from another direction. They always try to take the claims the direct route.
okay, that is something I'm guilty of. In kelp clams. But Kelp Dome is just way too big of a map.
Yeah.
Which makes it a perfect turf war map and nothing else.
It's another one where I really like
Yep.
the idea of the map more than I like the execution of the map. I like the aesthetic of it. It just
Just Kelp Dome, you're too big, buddy. You're too big. That's why you're a turf war only map.
The only regular map that is turf war only.
Yeah, it is the only map in the legalness that is a turf war only map. And I think it's only one of 2 maps that we have here that is legal for only one mode. Like, we'll
there
get to-
are.
and
Yep.
we will get to the other one because I go back and forth on whether I agree with making the other one only one mode, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one later. It's not on this. It's not on this. This page of maps. And we go from being legal to one mode to being legal to almost for the 4th time, Snapper Canal.
Snapper Canal.
I
That's always been kind of an awkward map for me to play, and maybe that's just because of the weapons I use.
this is one of the first times where I'm like, I kind of really don't agree with the decision here to make tower control legal for Snapper Canal. Just because a good chunk goes over, like, between checkpoints 2 and 3 are, like,
Yeah.
over water. And I'm like, eh,
Yeah.
not
The
the
different
biggest.
stage that we'll get to had tower banned because of water, I think.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that one later too, but
Yeah.
like this is the one time where I'm like, I'm okay with mostly everything else, but it being tower control legal.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I don't think I have an issue with it being legal. I just sometimes struggle with it just because it feels a little awkward for the weapons I play.
yeah,
But-
I don't like the idea of Snapper Canal Tower being legal.
And it's also one of the more interesting places for the Rainmaker to start.
Yeah, right in the middle of that central platform.
Yeah. On an uninkable surface.
And, fun fact about that. When that pillar is there, has a pipe right in the middle of it, except in the Rainmaker. Because that's where the Rainmaker is.
Ah. Yeah.
That's another one where it's got like just the tower right in the middle of the zone and you have to just work around it.
And unlike Inkblot, that tower isn't a good spot to hide and block out the opponents because of that unequal surface.
Yeah.
Snapper Clams, I'm looking at it now, it's just it feels like one of the goals that feels more accessible.
I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's one of those that it's about, like, the same, like, area is where the Rainmaker pedestal is. Like, within that same little, like, square rectangle, four-sided surface area. Except it's not even...
Yeah,
Anyway.
The Clams goal was on the lower level and the Rainmaker platform's on the upper level.
And, yeah...
Yeah, the basket is right in the middle of the tarp when coming down from the spawn.
Yeah.
Does add an inkable platform at right where the basket is.
Yeah, you kind of need that.
Yeah.
Blackbilly Skate Park.
Okay.
Legal in
so-
zones and Rainmaker. I think all three of us agree that we hate the idea of Blackbelly zones being legal.
Hate
One-
might be a strong word, but dislike at the very least.
We don't like this.
Yeah. Dislike at the very least, and I might be willing to use a word stronger than that, but...
Yeah, maybe hate is too strong a word, but we don't like this decision. We didn't like this decision the moment we came out, and the moment we bring up Blackbelly and we see this, both Chow and I immediately go to Icy, we immediately say, Icy, what the heck is this? And then when Arbiter shows up, we go, Arbiter, what the heck is this? And we would find out that somebody decided they loved chaos.
So I'm looking at Blackbelly here, and I'm trying to understand one thing, because maybe I'm just missing something here, but Blackbelly is legal for Rainmaker, but not Tower?
It's because the pillar in the middle is at full height in tower control.
Ah. Yeah, I haven't played Blackbelly Tower in a while.
You kind of forgot that little detail. It's not lopped off like it was in Rainmaker. And it used to be the same height as Rainmaker, and then they made it full height later on. And I'm like... I would have been okay if they took off Blackbelly zones and did Blackbelly clams. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, I like Blackbelly Clams. I remember having a particularly fun Blackbelly Clams match against, I think it was Firefin last season.
Yeah, Blackbelly Clams is easily better than that god-awful Blackbelly zone.
And yet I know that some people do like Blackbelly zones. Because we were having this discussion during the free agent showcase. Both of them. This came up during both free agent showcases.
I would guess, because like if you mentioned that compromises happened, I would guess that's maybe where one of the compromises was. Is somebody who
yes,
really,
it
really
was.
wanted to
Yes,
be
it
in.
was. Arbiter completely, definitely said that is one of the compromises.
Yeah.
But,
I can see there being someone, because like the people who would want that in would probably really, really want it in.
I mean, there is an argument made for Black Belly Zones being being liked by some of the short range stuff.
Yeah, like
Or, you
bucket
know,
chicken
you're a
perch on top
sniper.
of the out.
Because I know M likes it, and I think it's just because she likes being up on the center because it's a good sniper perch. I don't blame her.
Yeah. So, is Black Belly only 2 zones map that is legal?
I'd have to look. Let's see.
If that's the case, that might be the other reason it made it, is because they wanted
No,
to
the
have at
Reef
least
is
one
legal.
2-zone map.
The Reef is legal.
Oh, Reef is 2 zones, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is a much better 2-zone map.
Yeah, like I said, compromise. I was told compromises were made, and you know, some people actually do like Black Belly Zones. The 3 of us are not any of those people.
Yeah.
I will say, I do understand why it's banned for turf. I get that.
And tower control.
And tower.
Clan Blitz, I mean, I could see an argument being made. But whatever.
Yeah. Back to how bad Black Belly Zones are.
There's so much obscuring the space between the 2 zones.
Yeah. It's also telling that when someone who hates Moray Towers thinks that's a better map for zones than the Black Belly Skate Park. Case in point, me.
Yeah. Yeah, Black Belly Zones is definitely my least favorite zone. One of my least favorite zones maps. Because I just realized there is something that I hate more than Black Belly Zones. I forgot there is a zones map I dislike more than Black Belly Zones. Because I hate that map. I hate that map as a concept. And it's a 2 map. It's a Splatoon 2 map. It's not even a Splatoon 1 map. Mako Mart. Only it is allowed in everything but Clan Blitz. Okay.
And maybe that's because the goal is like right there.
Yeah.
It is probably just because the goal is right there. I mean, Mako Mart's a pretty good zones map. It's a unique zone too because it's a plus sign.
Yeah.
The tower is pretty good pathing. It takes you through a good chunk of the map. Rainmaker does the same thing.
And Rainmaker also changes layout slightly. I say slightly. Spawn is moved from at the bottom right to the top left.
Yeah, spawn. Yeah, right. Spawn point is a little different. It is completely different. Not a little different. It's completely different for Rainmaker.
Yeah, and then Rainmaker, for that one, you can hop on the boxes to get over to the other side.
Yeah, I mean, there
There's
is
a couple
some.
different routes you could take the Rainmaker. One of
Yeah.
which is right beneath the opponent's spawn.
Yeah.
Ew. Something else I just noticed so that the spawn point is shifted forward a little bit in the zones.
Makes sense. You want to make sure people can get to the zones quicker.
Yeah.
Shifted down a little bit as well.
I think I would say I do generally enjoy any mode I'm playing on Mako Mart. I think it's generally been a fun stage to play.
It is a fun map.
Yeah. Usually when I've had issues on that stage, it's been just facing someone who's really good or something like that.
Yeah, it's more of the players you're fighting, not the map itself.
Yeah, like a Brush because Brushes seem to really enjoy Mako Mart. Brush is occasional sniper.
Yeah, because there is a few good sniping points, especially if you're playing like zones and tower control.
Mm.
Alright, as much as I love Walleye Warehouse, I do agree that it only needs to be available for tower control and Clam Blitz. It can get way too one-sided very quickly, especially in zone. It can get one-sided very quickly. You can just lock people. It's one of the easiest to lock out stages in the game, if not the easiest.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing a fair amount of Walleye Rainmaker in Ranked, and that one's another very swingy one where you can... It could be over quick, or like, it's just in the middle the whole time and no one's able to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, as much as I like Walleye as a concept, it's just not. It's not a great map. Realistically,
there's like not a lot of room to. There's not a lot of room to really strategize.
Yeah. The only thing that really make it the quick swing in Rainmaker is using the upper path. Well, that has a longer route than just straight up the middle. It's narrower, which can make it easier to get Rainmaker shots off to open up that path.
Yeah, like I said, I like Walleye a lot. It's just I know Walleye is not a good map.
Yeah.
It's not good. Then again, a lot of the 1 maps are not good compared to 2. We're gonna be perfectly honest here. That's why, like, if you look back, you know, Moray, Mackerel, they only have 2 modes available. Kelp Dome only has 1 available. Black Brook Valley only has 2 available. Walleye only has 2 available. The one
And then there's another couple stages we're gonna get to.
Yeah, I'm just about ready to move on to the 3rd thing. And Schellendorf Institute.
Yes.
Schellendorf Institute.
Sniper's Paradise.
Why? Why? Why is it zones legal?
I kind of don't mind it.
This is my least favorite zones map. I do not like Schellendorf zones. Then again, I don't like Schellendorf as a map.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm not somebody who benefits from Schellendorf as much. I'm like, okay, Rainmaker Clan. I would have definitely, if I had to trade 1 mode for another for Schellendorf, I would have taken zones and slapped it on clams. Maybe I'm just one of the few people who's like, kinda like Schellendorf clams, but,
I'm neutral on Schellendorf clams, but I feel like I'm always getting screwed when I play that on clams, with somebody throwing a clam from the top of the glass and scoring.
Oh yeah, that's the main reason I like Schellendorf clams. The reason that's the only thing I don't hate. Well, strongly dislike Schellendorf for.
Yeah.
Is
I think it is kind of a weapons thing, because the weapons you use, you can take advantage of that on clams, and I can't as much. And then in zones, I can hop up on the glass and actually have enough range to maybe deal with a Hydra or something if I can get in the right position.
Yeah, you're running. You've kind of moved a little bit more to the backliner weapons.
I'm starting to dabble in it a little bit.
Yeah, you've kind of gone a little bit more from midline to backline with weapons, because you've already had CDS, which was kind of like the like the borderline, and then you've gone to V-Jet, C-Jet, and I'm like, that's where you could really just kind of start parking yourself on the glass and be able to reach the floor with your shots.
Yeah.
You're not going to do as well contesting a lot of the backliners. Not as much as like a remix, which is, you know, one of Warrior's weapons.
Oh, right.
But for somebody who does not play that range, and for somebody who always kind of just does not like fighting on the glass and has to deal with a lot on the, who sometimes has to go and deal a lot on the glass, sorry, is why I really don't like Schellendorf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason. I will give you. There was a reason my friends and I used to jokingly call it Hellendorf.
Yeah. Or as I like to call it, the Keon meme map. It's not Moray, guys, it's Schellendorf. Because I think he found out how much I didn't like... I think it's because he found out how much I don't like Schellendorf, and he decided, let's make that the meme.
Well, to be fair, his Discord profile picture right now is appropriate for Schellendorf, because you could probably find it in there.
Yeah, he has a skeleton picture right now.
In fact, actually, now that I think about it, they actually say in the game that there are human bones in that museum.
I mean, why wouldn't there be?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, now on to this map.
Let's go to Arowana Mall. It's Clamblets only legal, but I would have been very okay if zones were legal too.
Yeah.
But I can see the argument of
Rainmaker aren't there.
There's a damn good reason. Nobody likes being at the bottom of the half pipe.
Right.
And you have to go there for both Tower and Rainmaker. Nobody likes it.
Yeah.
It's just very Stingrayable too.
Yeah.
Like zones, I don't mind it, but I can understand the argument of why it's banned. Arowana is just a pretty decent Clamblets map.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a lot of the map mode combinations that involve a lot of verticality are banned.
Are banned in a lot of instances, yes. Arowana's definitely contender for one of the best clams maps.
Oh yeah, Arowana's fun for clams. I think that's the one we had for clams against Courageous Boomers last season.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And one thing I want to point out with the Arowana, on the other 3 ranked modes, here's missing a rail that is there in the Clamblets, on the opposite side of where the basket is.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why there's a rail there.
Helps.
Yeah. You don't have. Hey, if you don't have to touch the bottom of the map, why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you be down in that pit of despair? Ugh. You can tell we're not exactly fans of Arowana ranked.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Arowana Turf War, I could also, like, it's hit or miss for me. I could see, though, it is a high lockout potential, though, in tower, not tower control, Turf War.
Yeah.
Which is why I see it being banned. Gobi Arena, Gobi, Gobi, Gobi. I'm like, I don't know why you're banned for Turf War. I could see Rainmaker and Clamblets, though. It's more of the, holy crap, you're going through Legends of the Hidden Temple to get to the objective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to early to mid-90s game shows.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to IFC Yipes. If you're part of the fighting game community, if you've seen Marvel 3, you know where I'm going. This is a joke that very few people are going to get. And I will not explain it. But
I will say, I think Gobi Zones is one of my favorite Zones maps.
Gobi Zones is a fun zone.
Like, I've had fun playing that with an NZAP, I've had fun playing that with CDS, I've had fun playing that with a Jet.
Yeah. Well, I'll say there was a little bit of a missed opportunity with the Gobi zone. The one zone map, right? The basketball court. But it doesn't take up the entire in the play area of the basketball court. Stops short, just side of the inner rim of the hoop.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. I mean, also, the map with the most potential to have sports memes happen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me and Keon.
I mean, I think of Space Jam every time I play the stage.
Well, that's definitely not where Keon goes to. Keon definitely does not go to that when we go sports memes. Because he actually watches football. Not football, I mean, he does watch football, but that's not the sport I was talking about. Basketball. And he has to watch his poor Timberwolves suffer.
Oh. His Timberwolves that are they own as? No, we won't get into that. We'll get a little sports tangent if we.
It's Gobi Arena does that. That's all I'm just saying. Minnesota sports teams, not the greatest. Anyway, moving right along and out of the basketball court to the Piranha Pit.
Speaking of the Pit of Despair.
Well, I mean, this is not a Pit of Despair.
No.
Seeing as how it's
on specific modes it is, but
I mean, it's only banned in Rainmaker. It's legal everywhere else.
Yeah, that Rainmaker is kind of the one.
It's because it's weird. It's mostly because it's weird. Your spawns are put like 90 to like they're right near what is considered normally useless. What we call useless. So, you know,
it's the only of the modes that does that from the look of it.
Yeah, no, it is the only mode that does that. I think that is the main reason it is banned.
Yeah.
It's probably because of the change in spawn orientation and all that stuff.
And it's also the most dramatic layout change with all of the maps.
Because you've got all those big conveyor belts and stuff.
And where the spawn is in Rainmaker, it's farther back from the spot called useless, and there's a lot more added around there.
Like I'm just gonna switch over just to my window capture. This is like, for those that are watching on the map planner, this is Piranha Pit in Rainmaker, and this is what it is normally. It's so drastically different. Like it might as well be just a new map at that point.
Yeah.
It's barely Piranha Pit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, just for that reason alone, I agree with the Rainmaker ban.
Even at that orientation, I don't think that would be good for tower at all. Because I'm seeing all these different places you can stand and snipe the tower when it's going at the path it would have to go.
Yeah, I mean...
And also, all that doubling back
yeah.
the path. Counterintuitive.
I think Piranha Pit is my favorite two zones map.
It is a two zones map.
That's a pretty common thing I've seen as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just not a big fan of two-zone maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piranha's the least offensive of the two-zone maps.
Yeah, I said it was my favorite. I didn't say where it would be overall.
If we one of the next things we need to do for like a video is us just doing tier lists of maps.
Yeah, and if,
Like
and if
for
we're doing
each-
that,
like
we probably want
for-
to provide context for which weapons we use too, because that affects it.
Yeah, like we do one for zones, we do one for tower control, we do one for Rainmaker, we do one for Clam Blitz. Even though I would hate to tier list Clam Blitz, I'm not a big fan of Clam Blitz.
Same.
Clam Blitz is not exactly my favorite mode. I hope it doesn't come back for 3, but watch it come back for 3.
Yeah.
If they decide to add a new rank mode for 3, do you think they would have it in addition to all the ones we have, or do you think they'd replace one?
They probably
Yeah.
would add it in addition. They
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
wouldn't replace a mode.
Yeah.
Unless Clam Blitz is so universally disliked by everyone, they're not gonna get rid of anything.
Yeah, and I don't know if I really
Yeah.
see it being that disliked.
Yeah. Anyway,
next map.
Camp Triggerfish. Speaking of two-zone maps I don't like, and it's legal.
Ah,
Yeah.
And speaking of the tower control, we were like, why is this banned and why is Snapper Canal legal? This is
Water
banned.
and water and
Yeah.
water.
And I guess part of it is because Checkpoint 2 is like almost surrounded by water.
yeah.
I don't know why Triggerfish is not legal and Snapper is. I'm in the boat. They either needed to be both legal or both not.
I'll say I am
Yeah.
very, very glad Triggerfish Clams is not a thing.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah. Also, Triggerfish Turf War is also banned, which I am okay with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Triggerfish, it feels like, at least to me, the 1-2 zone map where you have to either focus on battling for one zone or the other zone, really.
Yeah,
For the
because
most
there's no easy way to get between the two of them, because it isn't like Rainmaker where there's a Rainmaker or Tower Control where there's a small bridge in the middle closing the two gaps.
Yeah, that
It's a
bridge
very...
is only removed in the Splat zone, so where it would be extremely helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's there in Clams, too.
Yeah, so it's like, what the heck?
And by the way, you need it to be there in Clams, because if it wasn't there in Clams, that would be horrible.
I mean, if it wasn't there in Tower Control Rainmaker, it'd be horrible too, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's... Why?
Yeah.
Why
I
do we
think-
make these zones legal? Why does Triggerfish zones exist as it is?
Yeah, I think I've enjoyed playing Mahi Mahi Resort in the first game more than Camp Triggerfish in the second one.
I don't remember if I liked Mahi Mahi or not.
Mahi Mahi Resort is the one where like the water level.
No, I
shifts,
know.
So that when the water
I
level
just
goes down.
didn't
Yeah.
play anywhere near as much ranked in 1 as I have in 2.
Yeah.
Then again, I haven't played as much as Splatoon 1, period, as I have 2. I have played a couple of 100 hours of Splatoon 2. Like it's getting close to 350 hours, which is pales in comparison to a lot of the players here, to be honest, because some people are in like 500, 1,000. I think Arbor's in the 2,500 plus club. But to be fair, this is also on the span of almost 5 years. It was like 4.5 years, because I think the game came out in July, and it's late January.
Oh yeah.
So, It's... Sorry. It's... Mahi Mahi. I drowned so many times falling into the water. Which is why I'm not the biggest fan of all maps with water. Just in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Which is why I've got words for New Albacore.
We'll get there. We got another stage before we get there.
Yeah, we've got Wahoo World. We got one of the most unique zone maps. It's only available for Turf Warren zones. Not sure why. Maybe it's because...
I'm not 100% sure why either, but I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm just like, wonder what the logic behind it is.
Yeah. Let's have a look at it here.
Wahoo
claims it's really condensed because the goals are, like, down there.
Yeah. And that might be the reason why they've got Tower Control and Rainmaker also banned, but, like, to be fair, to be honest to everybody, like, just to be clear to everybody who's watching, we're not that competitive of players. We're not, like, you know, people who compete in Ludi. We're, like, nowhere near X ranked. We barely have things in S. We're just here to have fun.
Yeah.
We're just here to have fun and a good time. But we still like to give our opinions because we are still competitors in the PSL. Especially since this is Warriors' 6th season, this is my 3rd season, this is Darth's 2nd season. You also don't get according to Red Jeb, you don't get an extra special title for it being your 6th season. You're still just called an all-star. You don't get an extra, like, star next to your name or something. For it being your 6th, like, Warrior's been here all 6 seasons. I've been around since season 3. I didn't participate in season 4. I was just a commentator for season 4. And this is only Darth's 2nd season, but we take this just as seriously as... We take it seriously. Somewhat, at least.
Yeah.
But, so sometimes to us, the logic of why... The point I'm getting at is sometimes the logic of why the decisions might be made here might just be because we've not played in a competitive environment outside of the PSL, and we might not totally have the idea of why it's banned or why it's legal. Actually, I do know why Black Belly Zones is legal. I got told why. It was called Somebody Wanted Chaos. I didn't get told who wanted chaos.
And frankly, I could believe it could be any of them.
No, Icy, one of them was very adamantly saying they didn't want it, and I think it was Icy. Or it was Arbiter. Like, between Icy and Arbiter, one of them was like, I'm okay with it, and the other one was, why? And I can't remember if it was Arbiter that said he liked it, and Icy was a no, or if it was Icy was a yes and Arbiter was a no. That's all I know. And I mean, all 5 of them had to vote, so yes, this includes Albino and Keon. This wasn't just Arbiter, Icy, and Par. It wasn't just the 3 of them, it did involve Keon and Albino. So it could have been one of the 2
that wanted chaos was reaction rolls bot.
I think it wasn't. I don't even think Keon wanted Black Belly Zones. Anyway. Wahoo World. Like, they could have added more. I'm okay with it just being those 2 modes. Nothing really that is like, I am like strong feelings towards. There we go.
That really wanted to try and bring back the old Wahoo Zones beam. One
Uh,
season every time Wahoo World came up, it was always Splat Zone.
that is probably the only reason that could just be the only reason they did that, was memes. Keon would totally be on board if they wanted to do a meme with Wahoo. You would get Keon on board for that. But no, there probably is actually some legit reason, not memes. If I get told Wahoo was banned and everything but Turf War and Zones because memes, I'm going to laugh my butt off.
Yeah.
Alright. And now our 5th map of Everything is Legal, New Albacore Hotel, I hate you. I hate you, but...
map of Everything is Legal.
What?
This is our last map of Everything is Legal, I think.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have that many more maps left.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like 3 more map things to talk about. Like, it's oh shit, I forgot to grab the list of the shifty stations. Oh well, that's the same as last season. Spoilers, we're allowing shifty stations. And we're allowing
Only for turf.
Oh, I mean, shifty stations is only allowed to be played in turf. You can't do private
Right.
modes. But, yeah, spoiler alert, the same shifty stations that were legal in Season 5 are legal in Season 6. Nothing has changed on that. It's the
Anyway,
same
New Albacore.
10. New Albacore Hotel. I'm not a fan of Albacore. Maybe just because I have drowned my little inkling in too many times.
Yeah.
But
And this might be another one where, like, I enjoy it more, because I maybe dunked my little inkling a time or two less than you, but then also because I occasionally will play a weapon that can reach all the way across the grates.
Yeah, now to be perfectly honest, I like Albacore zones. Maybe it's just because, all the action is in the central part and excuse me, I'm less likely to, fall in the grate and drown.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perfect imagery I just set up right there, too.
I did get some enjoyment out of Albacore Tower, but I will note, if anybody looks at the tower pathing, how much of it is over water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's more offensive on stuff over water than triggerfish, but not as much as No, it's.
I think it looks like it's again between checkpoint 2 and 3, where there's like a long stretch where it's just all over water.
I would say we have an obsession of water, but we are representing Proton John.
I mean, water and water and water.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the meme didn't originate from John. He just
No,
made
but
it
he's
an
happy
alert.
to make use of it.
He's happy to make that an alert.
Yeah.
But
That doesn't include turf wars, so it's hard to say about there, but all of the ranked modes, the spawn point is in a slightly different spot.
I will say I'm glad. Oh no, never mind. I was thinking of a different map. This is a map where everything is a thing.
yeah.
So, I would have considered getting rid of Albacore clams, maybe, because the goal was like. Well,
If
actually, no. Albacore clams isn't that bad. Albacore Rainmaker, I do not like because the main path has so much uninkable turf you have to cross to get to the goal.
Yeah.
It's in a
mean,
bit
if
of
I
an
had to
awkward
get
spot.
rid of one of the legal parts of it, it's either that or tower control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you've made a good point for Rainmaker over tower control. But whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't like Albacore as a map that much.
You know, like it's okay. I enjoy it sometimes, but it's not the
Alright.
best by any stretch.
Last bit of maps. We only have 2 maps left, and then, you know, the 10 shifty stations we already talked about. Anchovy games. Legal in only Splat zones and tower control. And I know why it's banned in Rainmaker.
Yeah.
You could put the Rainmaker in some really weird spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could put that in some really weird AF spots. And Clam Blitz, I don't know why, probably.
Clam Blitz, you can go to the left or you can go to the right.
I guess it's one of those where you can sneak around that too and cause problems. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know why it's banned for Turf War, but I guess it's because it's one of those stages you can easily lock out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can easily just spawn camp. It's an easy to access spawn.
Yeah.
I mean, Anchovy is a very
Yeah.
it's a fun map. It's a fun map. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just because of the way it's all set up is why it's banned in 3 modes. And last, but certainly not least, my favorite map, Skipper Pavilion. Only banned in Clam Blitz. To be fair, I would have been fine if Clam Blitz was accepted. I would have been fine if, you know, they decided that zones was not legal, because I could see an argument for and against zones being legal. Just because its placement's a little bit it's a little awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of skipper zones, but I know some people are definitely not fans of skipper zones.
Yeah.
Tower control is tower control. We're kind of going...
Yep.
And then Rainmaker, you could start getting very creative with Rainmaker in Skipper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of ways you could do that.
Yeah.
Clams? Why do you guys think Clams was banned for
Let's
Skipper?
take a look. Let me take a look at us.
That's the one where it's not immediately clear to me, and that may be a competitive thing.
Yeah. I
Gives some reason for that, because
I
I don't hate Skipper Clams.
Maybe it's because the
Yeah.
basket's too far from spawn?
And what does it say that the best thing I feel like I can say for a lot of Clams maps is, well, I don't hate it.
I'm like, I'm looking at, you know, Skipper Clams right now, and maybe it's just because it's too far from spawn.
Yeah. And a lot of the Clams are like in the compacted into the one area.
Yeah, that is true. Like,
Ironically, right around where the zone would be.
I mean, yeah, Skipper Clams, though, did bring, you know, one of the best comebacks to happen in Season 5 in Losers Finals.
Oh, yeah.
And those maps, I think, were picks from everybody. Like, I think,
Yeah, I think
all
so.
the,
I
all
think
the
there was
playoff...
like a select group that was there, and then everybody got to add a pick to that or something, or
Yeah,
or
like
just
every
everybody-
teams brought up like map and modes. I
Yeah.
think they wanted to do
Yeah.
every team in the playoffs. So they had 12 teams pick stuff. And actually, the funny thing is, since we're going to be a 20 team season, we might end up putting playoffs to 16.
Yeah, and it would be a nice round bracket. At 16.
It would be a nice round even bracket, but I don't know. They might do 12 again, but I think going to 16 would be a better idea.
Yeah. Do you think there's any chance they go to 14 and kind of go in the middle?
No,
of the two?
14's even weirder.
Yeah.
It's got to be something divisible by 4 to make
Yeah.
things a little easier.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's got to be something that's got to stay divisible evenly, and 14 divided by 2 becomes 7.
Oh yeah, that gets awkward.
Yeah.
That gets super awkward in a hurry.
Yeah,
Just look at the NFL playoffs this season.
and last
Oh
season.
yeah.
I forgot they did that last year too.
I mean, last year was just crazy. Anyway, overall, I do like these maps. I do like what all is being brought to the table. I'm glad they have, you know, allowed maps and stuff. I just wish they did this sooner. I wish they were like, yeah, we should probably not allow everything in existence in. And like they should have, they should have done this sooner. But hey,
Yeah. And I know
They're
we've
learning.
had some points where we're like wishing that something was in or something else was not in, but on the whole, there's not that much there that I would be like, why do we have to face this?
yes. So also
Mostly
now
very good.
we can't do hashtag blame Icy because Icy's the one who RNGs the maps.
Oh
So
yeah.
we can't exactly blame him. Because these legal map decisions were done by 5 people.
Right.
So if there's anything we don't like, we can just, you know, look to the officials and be like, well, you guys decided this. And more than half of you are not participating in it. Because only Par and Icy are allowed to play Arbiter's Too Good. Arbiter Too Good, please nerf. And actually, no, don't nerf Arbiter. No, Arbiter should, you know, just continue to go up the ranks of Ludi. But, so this has been half of the Forbidden Liquidators talking about what all is legal in the PSL for about an hour and a half. I am looking at my timestamp, but we are getting close to an hour and a half. Can't wait to insert all the music that I gotta do for this.
I joked about it before, but it is kind of a cephala podcast.
It is a bit of a cephala podcast. I don't know how many more of these videos that you'll get from the Forbidden Liquidators and have it be, you know, not just our matches. I don't know. It's up in the air, guys. I don't plan things that well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And if anybody from the other teams does happen to watch this, best of luck to everybody.
yes.
Let's all send Splatoon 2 out on the bang it deserves to go out on.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing I would like to mention with the map RNG is a single map can only come up 3 times in a season. Once it comes up third time, it's removed from the RNG.
Well, we've got a lot of maps that are only available in 2 modes. So So I'm really wondering if that rule is still in place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because like in clams, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's only 11 clams maps that are even in the rotation.
And we're doing this for, I think, 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So only one we have so few clams maps. I just realized we'd have so few clams maps.
Yeah, so it's possible we go the entire season and only miss one of them. It's possible is it possible for something to come up twice, or do they remove it?
They never had repeats. It's entirely plausible we don't see Arowana Mall all season because it's the one clams map not picked.
Yeah. It's the one not picked period because it's only in clams.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Since it's only in clams, if it does not show up for clams, we probably won't see Arowana Mall, period.
Kelp Dome Turf is in an even worse spot considering it's competing against 10 shifty stations.
10 shifty stations and like 5, 11, 15.
Yeah, there's like 24 other maps Kelp Dome is competing against.
26. It's
26?
26. It's 26 legal turf war maps.
5 and 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 plus 10 is 24, I guess, but whatever.
Maybe I mathed wrong. Because there's
One of us mathed wrong. It doesn't matter who it is.
5.
The point is, Kelp Dome is the one that's is the most likely to not show up all season.
25. We're both wrong.
Yeah.
We're both
Oh.
wrong. It's 25. Anyway, oh, but you said 24 other maps.
Oh, yeah, I said 24 other maps that Kelp Dome's competing against. It's not competing against itself, I don't think.
Yeah, but it's one of 25, and this is only like
Yeah.
a 10. Like it's probably gonna be a 10-week season with 2 bye weeks, which I'm very glad we're having bye weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we please have bye weeks? Anyway, this is, like I said, this is half of the Forbidden Liquidators. We're signing off. Who knows what the next video will be just in general for me or the Liquidators.